I am Miguel Gallardo, I'm an illustrator, and I came from a place very far away from here, like 6,000 kilometers from here. I came from Spain, which is a sunny and small place compared to India. And not all the Spanish people are like this. We are not all toreadors or dance flamenco. As I guess, not all the people from India like this. Okay, today, this is a very huge truth is that Spanish people speaks very bad English, so maybe you can help in some time. I want to tell the story on how I became a successful illustrator and comic artist, but also the most important, how I became to draw for Maria, for my daughter. This is a story about parents and children. This is my father, who was a very straight man and very honest, and also he's a teacher in maths and chemistry. And this is the subjects I fail year after year in my school. So this is the only medal I have in all my high school studios. It's a medal from attendance and punctuality. It's like a sheet of a medal. And for my father, I am a dumb. Maybe you don't recognize this image, but when I am a kid, when you are very bad student, they put like donkey ears in your head. Okay, the dream of my father is I were a banker. I was a banker, but it's not really a good thing for me. And the only thing I was interested for is the comics. I am drawing all the time. I am drawing in a school. I am drawing these interesting battles in a school, so I fail in mathematics and chemistry. And also I draw in the textbooks. And also I make beautiful caricatures of my teachers. But I don't know where they don't love my caricatures. I don't know exactly. In this time, we live in Lérida, a small city in Catalonia, and we live in a dictatorship of our beloved Franco up there. And this is a very boring place and a boring time to be. And the only thing I want to do is running out to Barcelona, who is the big city near Lérida, and it's where the things are happening in this time. In the end, I convinced my father that it's better for everything than I am running out of Lérida, and I go to Barcelona to examine in the fine arts faculty. I go to examine in this faculty, and I fail. After this, I go to the more low-level school. It's an arts and crafts school. And after 3 years, they throw me out because I am more in the bar of near the school than in the school itself. And so I begin to draw comics by myself because I can find a place for me and for my inspiration. And I begin to draw this character, Makoki, in the 80s, in El Víbora, which is a very famous magazine. And it's a little, in the other side, it's a very strange character because Makoki, who is with the cables in the head, he lives in a psychiatric, and they put like electroshocks, and he escaped. And this is the uniform of the hero, of my hero. It's a little bit weird. Okay, I continued to draw in comics and doing the only thing I want to do, because how my career, my curriculum is so so very bad. I try to do better my things working, like working in my comics. Okay. And we do many albums about, many comics about this character, and we are like more or less like pop stars in the 80s with all these comics. Also, I am one of the founding fathers of Víbora, who is a very famous magazine in the underground. And also create many characters like this is El Niñato. And after this, I continue to create also more characters. This is a journalist. And after this, the golden age in the comics, in the underground comics in Spain, fell, and I have to try to work in other places, like comic for children, and I make also cover for adult fiction and many draws for many things. Okay. Okay. In this time also I begin to work in La Vanguardia, who is one of the national newspapers in Spain, and this is part of my work. This is part of how I learned to draw and to change of styles and to do many different things. I work in La Vanguardia, and I work in so many newspapers in Spain. And also I begin to work in Herald Tribune in Paris, who is an American newspaper who is working in France. Okay, also I try in advertising, but it's not much, I don't have many lucky in advertising. Okay. But the thing I like to do besides the comic is to make posters. This is my another inspiration. And I am very inspired also in 50s and 70s posters, American and French posters. Okay. Also, I begin to work in so many newspapers and magazines in Europe. And I begin to work in New Yorker. I begin to work in the American market, who is the best place for an illustrator to work. And luckily, I begin to illustrate in the New Yorker, who is the best place of the best places for an illustrator. I remember that I made this first illustration, and I was scared to death, because illustrating the New Yorker is a very big issue. But I remember also that when you illustrated for the New Yorker, they send you like 2 magazines, and if someday I hang something in my house who is completely clear, I think I hang this envelope, because it's the most important thing in my career. Okay. But I was lucky, and I continued to illustrate it until this year in the New Yorker. Okay. Okay, in this point of my career, I have to read because I don't remember nothing. Okay, in this point at my career, I was a successful comic artist and illustrator and so on, but in this point, Maria Perez. When Maria Perez is like a hurricane in our lives, it's all trembling and all the things are changing. When Maria is born, we as parents we are very happy with Maria, because it's our first child. But in few times we we recognize that Maria, something wrong is with Maria, and Maria is diagnosed with autism at 8 years. Maria is going to talk is not talking very early, and it's difficult to communicate with her. But I begin to, okay, when I am drawing, Maria is looking at me, it's like very, I don't know, he's very happy with this. And I begin to communicate with Maria through the drawing. In the beginning, when Maria begins to talk, we discovered this wonderful skill of Maria, who is a very good memory for the names. She can remember the names of all the people who cross in any time her life. I have the opposite skill. I don't remember the name of no one. So we make like a super team with this and can work together. And okay, and in this point, Maria is my most important client. I draw for her. And wherever we go, I take with me a notebook to draw all the things Maria wants. Maria doesn't know how to read and how to write, so I have to read. I have to write all the things. Our notebooks begins like this. Is like the anterior. This notebook is from Maria, and if we lost, we can send to this direction. And the thing begins, I made a list with the names Maria want to know something about. And after this, I made a little picture besides the name, so Maria can recognize who is everyone. Sometimes the draw has to have something to do with the person, but sometimes it's Azarus. Also, I make all kind of things for Maria, all kind of materials. Who Maria needs to anticipate many things in her life, because the life is so very confusing for her, and through the draws. We try to Maria to understand a little bit the world. And more or less the system we utilize is like Maria sets a name, and I draw the figure, and I put the name above. But remember that the name is for me. I cannot remember the names. But Maria is able to recognize every one of my draws. Sometimes I have to draw people that I don't know directly. I don't know how his faces, but I draw some figure, I put the name above, and Maria is able to recognize this figure as is it. Sometimes, well, I am divorced from the mothers of Maria, and they go to live very far away from me. They live in the Canary Island, who is like 3,000 kilometers away from me. And Maria is with me in the holiday schools and all these things. And when we are together, Maria needs like some things need to be represented. Like she needs to represent some things. Like his classes in the school, no. She needs to, I represented all his classes in the school, like his teacher, her mates, and all this, and I have to represent all the classes in a huge school. Sometimes I have to represent her matters in swimming. I think it's the first time I have to draw these things. But the most strange things I have to represent for her is like this, is her mates in the dining school room, putting his head in the plate of food, and the teacher is angry with them. And also this is more specifically because Alvaro is putting his head in a plate of spaghettis. And you have to draw this thing between the head and the spaghettis. One moment. At this point, I discovered that all my successful career of illustrator and comic artist not means much compared to recover the drawing as a language to communicate. Because also Maria is very exigent with me like a client, and I have to draw very fast for her. And she changed my style of see the life and my style of draw. And I begin to communicate in a very simple style. Okay. Also, when we are together, we have this notebook for Maria, for the Rose of Maria, and also I have another notebook to explain how is life for us, how is traveling with Maria, how is going to holidays with Maria. And from one of these notebooks, I made this book in 2007. And this book now is translated to 10 languages, and the last is English. And through the book, I try to explain how it's like this, like traveling with Maria and like going holidays, and also we go holidays in a very strange place because we go holidays to a resort. I don't know if there is resorts here. You give me like a bracelet and you can eat all do you want and other things. This is very important for Maria, to eat all she wants. And this is a resort for German people. We are going to Canary Island. In Canary Island there is plenty of resorts, and every resort is specifically for a kind of people, for English people, for low-class English people, for low-class German people, and this is our resort. And in this resort, this is this German tourist going. And this is the weird place to stay in vacation, dumb father and his autistic child. Okay. And also in the book, I try to explain how is the life of Maria, how the people looks at Maria, how they defend on this confusing life. Okay. After the book, in 2010, they make a documentary about our story, who is very successful also, and we make this animation movie you have seen before. Yes, the movie is like finalist in Goya Awards, who are the most very famous film awards in Spain. And it's like a translation of the book, and it's the camera is with us in this weird resort, and is trying to explain how it is, but in real image. In 2015, when I make the first book of Maria, I jury over the Bible. Then never I do nothing more about Maria, because I tell the story and it's finished. But in 2050, I made this another book about Maria, because Maria is his 20 years birthday. And I think I have to explain in another book how is the life of an adult with autism. Because all the people think that autists are only childs, but autists grow. And I try to explain how is the life of, how the life of Maria is changing all these years. But the most important thing is the things are changing in the life of Maria is Maria begins to draw. In all this year to draw for her, I try many times to pretend that Maria begins to draw. And we use this system, who is like I put my hand in the hand of Maria and try. She's drawing some anthropomorphical figures. Then it's basically what I do for her. But Maria is not very interested in this using the draw. But one day, she's going completely mad in my studio, and she begins to draw in any surface in white in my studio. My originals, my books, any kind of places. And this is very, very amazing for me. This is, Maria choose the draw to express her things. Okay. And this is what Maria draws. When I draw for Maria, basically I draw these figures of the people, and Maria chooses to draw exactly the most expressive part in the body, who is the face. And in the face, she chooses to draw the eyes and the mouth, who is the more expressive thing in our faces. It reminds me a little bit to Angry Birds. Okay. And the last turn in all this working for Maria and trying to learn about her and all these things and trying to work with her special skill with memories and trying to work with my opposite skill, who is, you remember, I can remember the names of no one. I try to learn about all this process. And now when I go to a party or an event, I take a notebook with me and draw the people and try to remember the names of the people and put above of the, and so I try to remember how is the faces of the people. Y ya está. Okay, and this is a draw I made when I was about 6 years, and the other is a draw of Maria, and so it's the same thing. If you want to know more about us, you can go to Facebook and to this Facebook, who is the Facebook of Maria y Yo the movie, or to look in our directions. And this is all.